The desert at night appears as nothing more than an array of bright shining lights against a blanket of pure darkness, all the while shooting stars streak by. A makeshift transmitter, compiled from various pieces of junk, beeps softly and blinks with multicolored lights as it sits next to a lone trailer parked out in the middle of the desert. There is no other sign of life to be seen anywhere about, and the moon and stars above give the setting a desolate and ominous mood. Suddenly, a crazed-looking middle-aged man bursts out of the trailer. He exemplifies the stereotypical conspiracy theorist, disheveled, unshaven, unwashed, dressed in jeans, and wearing an X-Files t-shirt. He rushes over to the transmitter, checking its settings, recalibrating it several times while he observes the stars, and mutters to himself the whole time. As the strange man tends to the transmitter, the lights of a car can be seen approaching. The man continues gibbering and working, paying the vehicle no mind as it pulls up and parks nearby. A stern-looking man steps out of the car, looking about the area skeptically. He is dressed as a typical G-man, with a suit, tie, and trench coat. He retrieves a small notepad and begins to read from it.
Thomas Bruce Dean.
The twitchy man finally notices and turns towards the visitor.
Maybe? Who's asking?
The second man flashes his badge and approaches.
Agent Wallace Badler of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Are you Mr. Dean?
The wild-eyed man approaches cautiously, checking the agent over and inspecting his credentials.
That's me, but you can just call me Tom. Tom is fine.
The two men shake hands before Agent Badler again reviews his notepad.
So what's this all about, Mr. Dean? You called our local office because you had information on an international threat to Homeland Security.
No, not international. Extraterrestrial. There is an extraterrestrial threat to our world, and we need to warn the people of Earth. Our very existence as a species is at stake.
As he suspected, Agent Badler rolls his eyes, confirming his suspicion that Tom is yet another kook who believes in UFOs and conspiracy theories. He humors him nonetheless and begins taking more notes in his notepad.
Oh, I see. Well, Mr. Dean, making a false report is a criminal offense, and you can be prosecuted under the law.
But it's true. They have a plan for humanity, and it is not to come in peace.
And who are they exactly?
Tom looks around cautiously before replying.
The aliens.
Right. The aliens. Look, Mr. Dean.
Tom. Call me Tom.
Okay, Tom. I would suggest in the future refraining from filing false reports.
But I have proof.
Agent Badler raises an eyebrow.
Proof?
Again, Tom looks around them cautiously before continuing.
Yes, I can prove it. That's why I contacted you in the first place. It took some time, but I have proof now.
Agent Badler still eyes Tom warily.
What exactly is this proof you have?
Tom shushes Agent Badler while scanning the night sky for eavesdroppers.
Not out here. Come with me, and I'll show you.
Tom heads for his trailer, with Agent Badler following behind hesitantly. The interior of the trailer is like the home of a hoarder and in a state of disarray. Innumerable books and newspapers are scattered about, while charts, clippings, blueprints, and photographs line the walls. A lone laptop depicts a variety of YouTube videos, while a nearby radio plays old episodes of Coast to Coast AM. An evidence board dominates the center of the trailer, and like everything else, is compiled of a variety of extraterrestrial and paranormal literature and pictures. Tom rummages through the mess, while Agent Badler looks about the trailer in disgust. Finally, Tom retrieves a pair of tinfoil hats, donning one and placing the other on Agent Badler's head while he locks the door to the trailer behind them.
Here, put this on.
Let me guess. Is this supposed to prevent the government from spying on us or something?
Of course not. That's what they want you to think. The 2005 MIT study proved just the opposite, in fact.
So you want to be discovered?
Tom gives him a knowing wink.
Yeah. But just not by the feds. The hats are effective, however, against mind control.
I wasn't aware the FBI counted telepathy amongst their arsenal.
They don't.
Tom points upward.
But they do.
Again, Tom, who is this they you keep alluding to?
The reptoids, of course.
Tom points to a picture on the evidence board of a reptilian alien in a star chart.
AKA the reptilians. They come from a planet in the Alpha Draconis star system, and they intend to enslave the human race.
Agent Badler rolls his eyes, removes his tinfoil hat, and starts to leave.
All right, I've heard just about enough.
Wait, it's true. The reptoids are already here. They've been here for years already, hiding in secret underground bases all over the world.
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of secret underground bases.
Really? Subterranean aliens? And what, pray tell, do they want with us?
Resources, of course. They plan to strip mine the planet over time. They're terraforming the planet to make it more like their home world. The reptoids are really the ones behind global warming.
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of global warming.
If that were true, what do they plan to do with all the people who already live here on Earth?
Eat us, of course.
Of course.
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of reptoid anatomy.
The reptoids may be more technologically advanced than us, but they are still a carnivorous species. By eating us, they are able to infiltrate our society by taking the place of their victims.
What do you mean, take their place?
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of celebrities and politicians rumored to secretly being reptoids, some with reptilian eyes.
The reptoids are shapeshifters. They can assume the appearance of humans at will. The British royal family, the Bushes, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, all of them are reptoids who have been pulling the string throughout history for ages.
So you're saying all the politicians are secretly shape-shifting aliens who are running mankind's society? Even the President of the United States?
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of Donald Trump and Adolf Hitler.
He's not my president. Besides, Trump is such a douchebag, the reptoids didn't need to replace him. He does their work for them. Actually, he's a Hitler clone created by the Zetons.
Clone? Wait, who are the Zetans?
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of the gray aliens in a star chart.
The Zeta Reticulans, the gray aliens.
Wait, what gray aliens? There are more of them?
Aliens? Hell yeah. There's at least 3 factions and each one of them has a different agenda for us humans.
So if the reptoids want to eat us, what do the Zetans want?
The Zetons are a dying race and they need our DNA to save themselves. They're the ones behind the close encounters, abductions, and cattle mutilations. The Zetons have been using us to create a human-Zeton hybrid so that their species will survive. They're masters of cloning technology and have used it to replace world leaders and celebrities with pawns they can control.
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of Roswell, the Zetons, abductions, cattle mutilations, hybrids, and clones.
It's assumed they've been here since the Roswell incident in 1947, but in actuality, the Zetons have been here as long as the reptoids whom they despise.
So the Zetans and the Reptoids are adversaries.
Big time. They've been fighting each other for centuries. Both of them have their own agendas for Earth, and they don't want any competition. Whenever they encounter each other, it's kill on sight.
How is it possible that two technologically advanced species combat each other and we don't know anything about it?
Tom points at several clippings on the evidence board of global disasters, wars, and tragedies.
We see it all the time. We just don't know it's them. The aliens are masters of deception, operating through pawns and organizations that do their bidding. The average human has no idea they're really working for secret alien warlords.
So, you're saying the U.S. government has been infiltrated by extraterrestrials?
Tom points at several clippings on the evidence boards of aliens meeting with a variety of politicians and military.
It's not just the US. It's the same all over the world. Many of Earth's governments who know of the aliens' existence have formed ultra-secret alliances with them in exchange for advanced science, medicine, and technology. In exchange, the aliens get to conduct experiments, kidnap citizens, and manipulate world affairs unhindered.
You want me to believe there are human collaborators who go along with this?
Tom points at several clippings on the evidence board of the Illuminati, Rosicrucians, and several other secret societies.
Of course, the Illuminati, the Rosicrucians, Skull and Bones, all those secret societies that people think they know about are really backed by alien masters and are dedicated to creating the New World Order.
The FBI has investigated all those groups in the past and found them to either be nothing more than urban myths or frat boy fraternities, a far cry from plotting world domination.
Tom points at several clippings on the evidence board of Majestic 12 in the New World Order.
That's what they want you to think. The biggest and most powerful group is called Majestic 12. A collection of the world's leading scientists, politicians, and celebrities who work to create a single planetary government on behalf of the aliens, the New World Order.
For what purpose?
Self-preservation. Majestic 12 knows that humanity can't defeat the Reptoids or the Zetans, so they hedge their bets and work both sides. They aim to create a totalitarian world government, clandestinely conditioning the human race to accept the authority and propaganda of the aliens in exchange for their own survival.
Agent Ballard takes a closer look at the evidence board, continuing to humor Tom.
You mentioned earlier that there are 3 alien groups interested in Earth. Who are the third?
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of the Nordic aliens and a star chart.
The Plenians, although most people call them Nordics.
Agent Ballard looks at the Nordics' pictures in distaste, noting that they all look like Caucasian humans.
Nordics? Huh. Is that a joke? Do they all look like white guys with blonde hair and blue eyes?
Tom shrugs.
Yeah, I know. Seems a little borderline racist to me too, but they're anything but. In fact, the Nordics are mankind's best hope for survival.
How so?
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of the Nordics' homeworld and society, them seeding the Earth and watching mankind grow.
The Nordics are a benevolent race, dedicated to enlightenment and creating a utopia across the galaxy. Millions of years ago, they seized the Earth with their DNA, making them our celestial cousins. Ever since then, they have observed our evolution in hopes that we too would one day create our own peaceful civilization and join them among the stars.
And let me guess, that brings them into conflict with the Reptoids and the Zetans.
Correctamundo! But just like the Cylons, they have a plan.
Come again?
Never mind. Bad joke. Anyway, the Nordics have always had mankind's best interests at heart, thwarting the other aliens whenever they could. But now they are finally ready to implement Phase 2.
Again, Agent Battler raises a skeptical eyebrow.
And what exactly does Phase 2 entail?
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of the Nordics' Phase 2 plan.
This three-front war with the Reptoids and the Zetons has taken its toll on the Nordics, so they finally decided to withdraw and save as many humans as possible through a mass exodus.
You're saying the Nordics are just going to kidnap a couple of million random human beings?
It's not kidnapping, it's rescuing. It will be like the rapture in the Bible. All the good people of Earth will rise up into the sky on a beam of light and be whisked away to a galaxy far, far away. Or the final frontier, I'm not sure which. But we'll be safe and away from the Reptoids and the Zetons.
Agent Battler doesn't look convinced.
And how will the Nordics determine which humans are good and which are bad?
Just like the Reptoids and the Zetons, the Nordics have been in secret communication with people all over the world for centuries. But unlike the other two, the Nordics talk to us in our dreams, creating a bond of trust and friendship with like-minded individuals.
Tom taps the tinfoil hat upon his head.
The Reptoids and Zetons aren't so discriminating and are prone to traumatizing their victims with anal probes and telepathic mind control, hence the need for protective headgear.
So I take it that means you're one of those who the Nordics communicate with regularly.
Absolutely. They've been visiting me in my sleep since I was 8 years old.
And what about the other aliens? How do they feel about the Nordic plan?
They don't know. If they did, they would try to stop them by any means necessary. Which is why the Nordics have kept their plan under wraps, communicating only when we sleep and sending us the instructions on how to build the transmitters.
Transmitters? What transmitters?
Tom points to several clippings on the evidence board of blueprints and diagrams for the construction of the transmitter.
The Nordics want to liberate as many humans as they can, so they send directions how to build these special transmitters.
Agent Battler points outside the trailer.
Like the ones you have outside of your trailer?
Yes! The Nordics are having us secretly build thousands of these transmitters all around the world to act as beacons. Safe places where they can pick up and rescue those they intend to save.
So, why call the FBI, Mr. Dean?
Tom.
Why have me come all the way out here, Tom? What exactly is it you want me to do about all this? I mean, isn't this supposed to be one big giant secret? Why jeopardize that by getting the government involved?
I checked you out, Agent Battler. That's why I requested you personally. I figured, since you were assigned to the X-Files, you'd be more receptive to my story.
Agent Battler rolls his eyes.
Contrary to what you see on TV, the FBI does not have an X-Files unit. I'm actually assigned to the Unsolved Case Division.
Close enough. I needed the help of someone in the government with paranormal experience.
I do not have paranormal experience.
Someone that I could trust.
I have never met you before today.
And someone who will believe my story.
That has yet to be established.
Look, I know how it must sound, but it's all true. The Nordics are coming to take us away from all this.
And your only proof of all that is all this?
Agent Battler points to all of the clippings spread across the evidence board.
Yes, this and the transmitter itself.
Excitedly, Tom exits the trailer with a hesitant Agent Battler in tow. Outside, Tom trips over himself to get to the transmitter, showing it off proudly to Agent Battler, who still looks unimpressed.
You see? I was able to cobble it together from bits and pieces I scrounged from scrapyards, car heaps, and odds and ends.
You built this out of scrap.
It may not look pretty, but I followed the Nordic's instructions to the letter.
Instructions that came to you in a dream.
I'm telling you, Agent Battler, this is the real deal. This transmitter will save the future of humanity.
Agent Battler says nothing. Instead, he gets closer to inspect the device. Still clearly skeptical, Agent Battler stops writing in his notepad and reviews his notes.
So let me get this straight, Mr. Dean. Tom. 3 alien species have been secretly visiting and living on Earth for untold years. 2 of those said aliens, the shape-shifting lizard men,
The reptoids.
and the anal probing little green men,
The Zetons. And they're great, actually.
have been using humans for everything from surrogates to hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, essentially.
But a third group of aliens, a flock of seagulls,
The Nordics.
have told you in a dream to build this contraption that will allow them to beam you up to their spaceship. Is that right, Tom?
Yes.
And this transmitter you've constructed, how do you know that even works?
Tom is dumbfounded for a moment.
Well, yes. Of course it does. I think it does. The Nordics said it would.
Suddenly, Tom doesn't seem as confident as before while he looks the transmitter over. Agent Battler has heard enough and finally puts away his notepad and he retrieves his cell phone.
Well, Tom, I think I've gotten all the information I require right now.
You believe me, don't you, Agent Battler? I'm telling you the truth. The Nordics really are coming for us.
Agent Battler feigns a smile.
Oh, of course they are, Tom. And I do believe you.
Tom is visibly excited and shakes Agent Battler's hand profusely.
Thank you, Agent Battler. Thank you so much for believing me.
Again, Agent Battler plays along.
Don't worry, Tom. I'll make some calls. We'll get you all the help you need.
Agent Battler steps away to talk privately on his cell phone. In the background, an exuberant Tom stands beside his transmitter. Agent Battler begins talking in hushed tones to his contact on the phone.
Yeah, we got another live one here.
In the background, Tom scans the stars and night sky above.
Same as all the others. He's blabbering on about reptoids, Zetans, Nordic aliens, secretly controlling the planet and using humans for experiments.
Suddenly, a bright white light shines down on a startled Tom. So engrossed in his phone conversation, Agent Battler doesn't notice.
He's even got some kind of transmitter he says will help him escape the evil aliens.
Tom begins to convulse under the light and begins to rise into the air. Agent Battler still has no idea of what is happening behind him.
Agreed. That could pose a problem. I'll take care of it just like I did all the others.
Agent Battler puts away his cell phone and instead retrieves his firearm. He turns back to Tom, who has now vanished, just in time to see the bright white light in the sky above.
Tom?
Agent Battler is blinded by the light and can see nothing as everything fades to white. Within moments, all is normal again at the campsite. Alone, Agent Battler stands next to the now abandoned transmitter and trailer. Disgruntled, Agent Ballard puts away his gun and again takes out his cell phone, redialing his contact.
We're too late. They made the pickup. We lost him.
Agent Ballard heads back to his car.
That's the sixth one this month. If this continues at this rate, over time it could seriously hamper our food supply, not to mention escalate our conflict with the others.
Agent Ballard sits behind the wheel and pauses to look in his rearview mirror.
Well, if the Nordics are intent on accelerating their own agenda, then we have no alternative but to do the same.
Suddenly, Agent Ballard's eyes turn reptilian and his mouth sports a wicked set of fangs, revealing he is actually a reptoid himself. Upset with the loss of the whistleblower Tom, but content that the reptoid's secret is still safe, the alien Agent Ballard resumes his normal human appearance and drives off into the night.